Jonesy
and Amanda.
Jam Nation.
A good day to be voting tomorrow. The local elections are on.
The New South Wales local elections, voting is compulsory. You know, I had an interesting moment this week because I was thinking, oh, God, that's right, I've got to go and vote. And I really had to, as they say, check my privilege because right at the same time I'm going, oh, I've got to vote. I've been listening to a podcast about Emmeline Pankhurst and Emily Davidson, who were the suffragettes. All I knew about suffragettes when I was growing up was this song by David Bowie. These women were amazing and they were quite militant. Emmeline Pankhurst led this, she organised the suffragette movement, pushing for the vote for women. Mm-hmm. And she died, I think, just 18 days before it was tabled in Parliament. Mm. But because they were not listened to for so long, they tried so many methods. In the end, they went on hunger strikes and they were force-fed. They were imprisoned. They blew up. They never killed anybody, but they were blowing up buildings. They were throwing rocks through windows. They were seen as terrorists. But this was the activism that was
terrorist behaviour.
Yeah, but this is the activism that was required. Emily Davidson was one of the suffragettes, and she actually threw herself under King George V's horse and was killed. This is the lengths these women went to, and I got quite emotional listening to that podcast, thinking they had no idea that all these years later, the privilege that we have, that we talked about the women in Afghanistan earlier this week, women whose actual voices aren't allowed to be heard outside the house. And here's me going, oh, I've got to go and vote.
Check your privilege,
check your privilege. We're so lucky and so beholden to those early women who did the unpleasant, unpopular work that got us here.
Right on, sisters. I'm with you.
Thank you.
And you can vote earlier if you want to. You just got to have an excuse. That's what happens to me because I walk past the polling booth and they say, why won't you be voting on Saturday? I haven't come up with an excuse. I will
mention the suffragettes.
I'm going to be doing something on Saturday, which means I can't vote today.
You do whatever technique you like, but I urge you, don't be a curmudgeon about it because it actually is a privilege.
It's coming up to
and you might get a sausage.
That's the upside.
That's what they needed was democracy sausages back in the suffragettes' day.